What's up? This is Easy Drawings, and today we're going to go over how to draw a Halloween skull. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to grab a pencil. This is just a regular mechanical pencil, and I'm going to walk you through it all the way to inking it. So stay with me all the way to the end, and let's get started, guys. So also, if you're interested in learning a lot more, like custom learning, what I do is I take what you have. You can send me your art, and I can correct it, and I can also tell you what you need to work on specifically, and maybe give you some exercises to do that. When you're learning art, it's very vital for you to learn from someone who is in the same path as you, but more ahead. And so to do that, you can cut like many months, if not years, off your time if you have someone look at it and say, hey, you're doing this wrong, and identify it. So that's great. I do that on my Patreon. Go check that out. I'm going to put that in the link in the description. And that's it. So let's get going. I'm going to start with the circle shape here. And I'm going to pull down forward. And I don't know if you can see this because this is so thin. You know, it's just such a thin pencil here. Now you might not be able to see it. Hopefully you can, but I'll go through this face quick. I'm going to go down the center line of the face. I'm going to throw some square shapes for the skull, for the eye sockets. Below that, I'm going to throw a triangle for the face. Wow, I'm saying that. A triangle for the nasal cavity. And then I'm going to go here to the muzzle of the mouth here. I'm going to go to kind of behind the eye socket, right above the zygomatic arch. And I'm going to also actually put in the zygomatic arch. It's kind of your cheekbone. I'm going to go down. Back of the jaw here. And right now I'm just finding placement, and in ink I'm going to kind of show you what I'm doing. Back of the skull is going to slope. So we have the general placement for the skull, and in terms of measurement, there's really not much of a rhyme or reason. Usually what it is I cut it in the front of the face of the skull in thirds. There's the bottom part, which is the chin. There's below the nasal cavity, so below the nostril cavity, right above the brow, and then the top of the skull right here, where it starts to turn back into the top of the head, like the really top of the forehead. So what I'm going to do now, which will be a little bit easier, I'm going to go into it with a micron. Microns are a must-have. If you don't have these, get some. Microns are the kind of the greatest thing for inking, in my opinion. Unless it's like a straight-up brush pen, but they have just brush pen versions. But I'm going to go into the eye here, the eye socket. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place more or less one line. And I am gonna, kind of bring out the shape of that eye socket, sorry. And it's more or less just square. Going into the nasal cavity. Front of the nasal cavity. Other eye socket. He's got that square rectangular shape. Bottom of the far side of that zygomatic arch. This side of the zygomatic arch, the one close to us. Again, zygomatic arch is really just the cheekbone, so don't be freaked out by like terminology like that. Top of the zygomatic arch. Temple. Top of the brow. Kind of traced in the back of the skull. Skull itself has a little bit of a slightly squared shape, but not much of one. Pulling in. There's a little nub, I forget what it's called, toward the bottom of the skull. It's like a nub. I cannot remember the name of that. Forgive me. Going into the front of the teeth. Down. Going into this negative space right here of the skull. You know, we're kind of behind the tooth cylinder. So right now we have a skull shape of like a line, a complete line. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to erase the pencil lines that I had from before. I have to be careful not to erase too quickly because some of the ink might not have dried. Just gotta move that camera around a little bit. Alright, I'm trying to get these pencil lines out of the way. Because now we already have our framework, right? Like when you build a building, you build the framework first and then you put the cool stuff kind of over it, on top of it. You build on. You're slowly building onto something, making things a little bit more complicated. Slowly building it up. So now I'm gonna grab, I think there's a thicker micron. Well, this is the same one. This micron's the 8. I believe that refers to the thickness of it. I'm gonna go to the inside of the micron here. I'm sorry, the inside of the skull. On both. Same thing with the inside of the nasal cavity, and I'm filling that in. Because there's a pit, obviously, to the cavities, right? I'm going to grab a slightly thinner micron. It's a 5. and I'm gonna go into smaller detail. So where it curls kind of around the top of the nose, I'm gonna kind of try to bring that out with small little dashes, and these little dashes are meant to reveal form, you know, reveal what direction that little area is taking. And there's no, it's kind of style points at this section. It's not really that structural. There's no like 101. I mean, there is a 101, but there's not, how do you say this? You can embellish a lot with these little dash marks. Oh, whoops. Before that, let me fill in that last cavity here with that back with the 8. Then I'm going to mark the teeth. So I'm going to keep going in here with the 5. Oops, the 1. Go underneath here, and a good idea would be to make it kind of uneven, because when you look at your own teeth, you don't really, not everybody's teeth are perfect, so you can throw maybe some slight, you know, little marks here to kind of show that the teeth are not 100% perfect, because then they're gonna look like doll teeth or Muppet teeth. You don't want Muppet teeth. A few more marks again to show off the form. Over here, and I'm gonna throw some within that empty space over here, within the eye socket. If you want, you could fill in that whole space to really make that recede. If you want another kind of how to ink video, let me know. I can do that, like specifically inking. Throwing in some more nuances, some more marks. More marks here, and now I can throw as many as I want to kind of make this form really pop. I'm going to throw some darks down here toward the bottom because it kind of grounds, and this is more, the stuff I'm talking about is more general drawing stuff. You can do this with anything, doesn't have to be just skull related, but I'm going to throw more darks toward the bottom, like I said, to really ground the image. See, and at this point, I'm just putting in minor details, and I can kind of keep putting those details till the details kind of overwhelm it and become something of itself. You just keep it going like that. It's a really fun process, and I honestly hope that you guys do this. I mean, it's cool that you watch me. Watching is cool and learning, but I want you to try this stuff out. It's you're gonna learn this from doing it. It's very similar to like weightlifting, for example. You can watch me lift weight, or you can actually do it. You know, and the benefit's gonna come from doing it. So, really kind of really do that. I recommend that, and it's going to be a really rewarding thing for you. I hope that you learned something. If you learned anything, please comment. Go check out my Patreon. If you want to cut years off your learning time, go to my Patreon and become a patron. And even if you don't want to do that, just go over. You can say hi. I know at the very beginning, I believe it's like $2, and I'll give you a free ebook. After if you donate $2, I'll give you a free ebook, and then I'll also shout out something on my Instagram for you, and you can also see posts that I don't post anywhere. So that's pretty much it. I want to thank you again, and happy Halloween. If there's any other Halloween topics, let me know. But that's pretty much it, guys. I appreciate you watching. Talk to you in the next video. So see you soon.